Action. Unedited, uncut, raw and live. This is what you're getting in my videos. And of course, let me put on my trademark sunglasses before we get started. So, make sure my hair is good. Now, before I go into the beef of this video, first of all, if you love my channel, please subscribe to it. And it is sponsored by, and I self-sponsor my own channel right now because it is so small, but there's going to be a free gift enclosed right below. You can get this class for free, but if you want to go and use the same link, you can also get thousands of courses on Skillshare for free as well for the next 2 months. This is exclusive offer that is only available in this channel using the promo code below. That said, let's get into the beef of this channel. And of course my excuse of why. Because I'm not shaving and looking however I want to every single day. And it is pretty simple. I make online content and I make a living doing exactly that, and you can as well by checking out and going to my website www.geekacademia.com. And there's going to be a saying right here that's going to tell you where to go to check out my online classes. That said, let's go into the real beef of this video, which is what is the ultimate vlogging camera. And we'll start with number one. This is definitely the ultimate one. This is the Canon 80D. Why is it the ultimate? Well, you get DSLR quality by having a DSLR. And you can do almost everything with this camera. You can interchange all the lenses, everything else included. And here is the big issue with something like this. Now, Casey Neistat loves using a real DSLR for his movies and for his vlogs and everything else. Why does he use such a big camera? And of course I copied the sunglasses from him as well. Now, let's not complain here. Anyway, why does he use big camera? Because it is the highest quality camera that you can have. And that is the camera, and that it is his rule. That you should always have the highest quality camera that you have on you to film whatever you're doing. So if you can film with a DSLR, you should definitely do so. If you can film with something small, then do that as well. That's how he makes his movies. The downside of having something this big is that A, you need to have huge muscles to pick up something like a brick and walk with it all the time. It is heavy, it is big, and it draws attention to this, not to you. It is much harder for you to take something like this big into places. Much easier for you to drop. This is really for doing movies and so on. It is not really great for everyday purpose. So unless I'm doing some professional photography, I try not to use this camera. And this is not my most expensive camera, but it is an expensive camera. Not the most, but still, this is my backup camera to my best camera. You should always have a backup to all your camera gear, especially if you're doing event photography or other important photography for that matter. So DSLR is essential if you're a photographer. But it is not really as required as it used to be, because there's something else called the mirrorless camera. Having no mirror, this might be exactly that, the perfect vlog camera. And it might be exactly what it is. And here's why. First of all, it has the screen. So you can see yourself just as good as DSLR, 2/3 less weight. The only problem is this. Look how much this sticks out. The good thing about this specific camera, this is the M3, by the way, in case you don't know. It also has on this side a small port where you can actually put in something to get external sound. And an external mic for this camera is amazing. It gives it the best sound quality possible. And if you keep it like this, you can put it right here. Here's one big problem. Unfortunately, if you put the external mic right on this, you have a hard time seeing yourself. So this is a big downside of this specific camera. And the other versions of this camera, the M6, the M50, and the M5, have this almost the same exact issue, except, wait. The M5 doesn't. The M5, this goes out this way, which actually becomes almost the perfect camera that you can use. But I think M6 is a little better. First of all, it is the same exact thing, but it doesn't have the viewfinder. It is just like this, but it is much cheaper. So, my question is, which one is better? The M6 or the M5? And I'm a little bit skeptical between both of them, because I have the M3 here. I want to upgrade the M3 to either one of those. So those is the ones that I'm thinking about. And I was thinking about something else before I got that. I was thinking, why not just get this? This is the Sony. This is the 6th version of the RX100. Look at the size of this compared to that. You can see the big difference. This is pocketable. This is not. So which one is the perfect vlog camera? This seems to be it. Unfortunately, it has other issues. This one has a super zoom, but its low light quality is just terrible. Talking about low light quality, some of the low light quality in this is not so great either. But you can definitely get a lens with better light quality for this one. You can't get any interchangeable lenses for this. Now, one thing you could potentially do is to scrape this, not even get this one, but get the 5th version of this camera. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the super zoom function. This is where this comes in. This you can have a pretty good zoom, but then again, well, when this is actually zooming out, guess what? They'll both like that. But when this goes in your pocket, look how slim this actually gets. So this works as a super zoom camera. This is not pocket size. This doesn't work. Talking about pocket size, well, this is definitely not pocketable compared to this. So this makes it a big understanding why somebody would want this. Unfortunately, Canon and Sony, well, you would still have to get another camera. This has no low light capacity to it. Therefore, you need another camera. So, unfortunately, you have to have 2 of them for the same purpose. You have to have a low light camera, and you have to have this one. This is not a great low light camera, by the way. The best low light camera is right there, filming me right now. The Canon G7X Mark II. So what do? At this point, you might have to settle for the Canon G7X Mark II and the Sony Super Zoom camera for $1,200. This is very expensive. And it makes you think, maybe you should just get this specific one and settle for that one. Well, there's so many choices for you to pick from. What do? Well, the first thing you have to figure out is, what is your budget? How much are you willing to pay for this? That is the first question you have to ask. Second question is, what type of videos are you going to be actually doing? Do you need something super pocketable such as this? Unfortunately, this Powershot, the G9GX Mark II, is not good enough. It doesn't cut it for most uses. You can't see yourself in here. It's only on the back. This makes it almost a useless camera. The low light capacity of this is okay. This is great as my backup camera. If I don't have anything else I can use. Other than that, you can just trash this camera. This camera is just not good enough for vlogging. You need something that you can see yourself. So what are the requirements for a vlog camera? You gotta see yourself. You gotta have some kind of an external port to record yourself. Because you don't want to post-process all the sound. Or you don't want to have a separate on board something to record all the sound on you. It's just a waste of time for you to do this, to post-process all the sound recording and everything. Which brings me back to the M3. The M3 has it all. Unfortunately, if you put this over here, the recording mic and the sound right there for the mic on top of this, and then you want to watch yourself, guess what? You can't, because this actually gets right in the way, and it makes it almost useless camera. Which brings me again to the M50. Or of course you can just get a cheap extension that goes right under here and put it right on this side, and I actually have one of those to solve that issue. But it still doesn't solve the biggest problem. This is just big. So the perfect wide camera doesn't exist yet, but it is getting closer. The G7X Mark II is almost the perfect camera, with its competitor, which is the Sony, but not this version. It has to be the Powershot RX100 V, which is a direct competitor to the Canon G7X Mark II. The Canon G7X Mark III is coming out, hopefully this year. Maybe it's gonna blow all the specs away from this one. This camera is great, but you have to think about this way. What do you need this for? Are you gonna go on a safari? Do you need to go and do videos of things that are far away? If this is the answer, and it is the case, this is a great camera for you to use. The RX100 is probably the best camera that you can get for zooming in, close by situations, for super zooming, and so on. But as a vlogging camera, it fails big time because of two different reasons. No external mic. 2, there is no low light capacity. Those are the two big requirements. And the 5th version of this takes care of the low light capacity, but doesn't have the super zoom. I can live without the super zoom, but I do need the very good sound quality. And the Canon G7X Mark II, between that one and the 5th version of this camera, it's really all about whether you do more and which one is better. And that is a hard question for you to ask. Between those two different cameras, which one is better? That is a hard question. For me, I got the Sony. Actually, I have the Sony right here. But for me, the Canon G7X Mark II is the one that I use. But for some people, this might be the ultimate camera. You have to test it yourself and figure out which is the budget for you. But guess what? The Sony 5th version of this camera is way more expensive than the Canon G7X. And if you break your cameras a lot, you might as well just get the cheapest one possible. Just get a used Canon G7X Mark II. And if you don't care about the sound, just get a used G7X1. The first version is okay. The sound quality is terrible on that camera. You might be saving some money, but you will have to post-process all the sound out of it because the sound is just so terrible. Maybe the external mic, well, there is no external mic in the Canon G7X Mark I. So keep this in mind. So with that said, you have to figure out which camera is best for you, for what you're doing, for becoming the perfect vlog camera. There's so many cameras for you to choose from. You have to understand which one you need for what use you're going to be using it for. And then think about and figure out which is the best possible camera for you. Which budget do you have? What kind of size do you actually need and you have for it? And the best interchangeable lens cameras, those might be the Canons or some of the Sony lines, which are a little bit more expensive. Or of course you can get the super pocket size cameras. I like the James Bond's quality and style of those cameras. But guess what? For $1,200 you can get something a lot cheaper and small and get almost the same exact image quality and even digital zoom. So keep this in mind when you're hunting for cameras. more money doesn't necessarily equal better performance. And if you have money to burn or money to waste, you might as well get the best possible camera, which is something like this. But then again, this is just standing out. So there's a lot of cameras to choose from, and above all, it comes down to your preferences. It also comes down to your shooting style and what do you need it for. If you're vlogging, you're going on vacations, going on trips and everything, I would believe that the smallest possible camera, the super zoom, is probably best for most people. But then again, not everybody has $1,200 to waste, because if this thing drops or something happens on a vacation, you might as well just get the cheapest possible camera that you can to get the job done. But if it doesn't have a selfie screen, you can't see yourself recording, and you're gonna totally fail when it comes to vlogging. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you got all the way to the end and you did enjoy it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and also post right down below any of your comments or questions, and of course, see you in the next video. Okay, are you still here? We are done. Bye bye.